Yeah, 1st of July 1921. Yeah, well, there is for me, because I don't know all the people in the photos. Sometimes I look at them and I regret that my mum didn't. She did label quite a lot, but there was some that even she looked at me and went, I don't know who that is. These are all dads. And my mum would just go, I don't know. She had a sewing machine. She used to make clothes for me when I was little. She made my clothes. There wasn't a lot of different sizes. So she used to make all my clothes, and I had a little one as well. So yeah, and that's what I had, a little tiny thing I think about this big, and I used to make Wally clothes. Yeah, and make my little red and white check was all I ever got given, was a bit of gingham to play with. I used to make little shorts for my dolls. But, I don't know. I think it's because you were so interested. So we made some at home. We cut some material out and made them at home. And the bookmarks, and that was again stitching. So I remember because we had the your frog was the one that sat there with the big eyes and the big eyelashes and the big smile, and it was the tidiest one there. She'd go and buy the fine cotton, or if we were in Germany when we were in Berlin, she would go and pick up cotton from there because it was different. And my mum, because granny stuff was so much finer than the stuff we could get, so we'd always try and find some in Berlin. Our whole house was festooned with like all this stuff everywhere, over with a sideboard with a thing here. Even when I remember we had a dressing table in the bedrooms, and there was like 5 or 6 different things, and you had to put everything on it. You couldn't put anything on the wood. And she had those in her room till she passed away, I remember. So she had like a long one on the top where she kept all the perfume, and then brush and mirror and everything in the middle, and then things. But she had about 6 on this thing, and I had the same in my room. And some of them were quite fashion furniture, fancy stuff. Yeah, she enjoyed it. She thinks she just liked doing something different. She knitted. I mean, if I saw a jumper that I liked, that was it. She knitted it. She always had about 4 or 5 projects on the go. She made this. She used to make all the things for her big cabinets.
Do you remember?
She made the things they used to go on the bed. She had huge things that went on the bed. She would make. So when I went and visited her, she was probably not doing so much then. But when she came over, she brought it with her, and she brought stuff. She brought yarn for Mum from Berlin for Mum to do some as well. Yeah, but she would sit literally sit there like on the sofa, like always doing. Because my mum couldn't teach me how to knit because she was taught a different way, because she couldn't show me because she didn't understand how I'd learned, because she'd learned a different way. She used to hold the wool and just twiddle it like that. She was so fast. But you're the only one that's ever taken it up. And she had lots of, and she had a big table she used to sit at, and Grandad would just keep out the way because she'd be if anybody came near. So she was quite a hard woman, Berlin, and when they had the freedom and everything, and she just, I don't know, she blossomed into this funny, crazy woman.
A bit.
Yeah, they had a big social thing, which was lovely to see. Lovely lady. But yeah, and it was lovely walking into the flat because it was just like everything was. It felt like home. She'd prefer to make it rather than spend money on stuff and make it fit. Which I like with you when you go and get something from a charity shop and you change it to fit you. My dad. That's who I see most in you, because you've got that. I don't know, it's that you always find a solution for something. It's like I'd be fretting, oh, such and such, and you'd be like, no, we'll sort this, and he'd go and find a way of making things, and I see that in you, because you persevere with stuff and make it right, kind of thing. When you're making something, if there's something goes wrong with it, you do something.
I don't just stop it.
No, you don't stop, and you just keep going. He was just so, clever at thinking about, well, how can I, and that's where I see you. Your brain is always going like that. I think you're very much like him, in the all calm and just keep doing. till you get to the end. It was, yeah. They had a wonderful life.
Yeah.
They had a, you know.
Yeah.
They, you know, had a wonderful place to live. They were always on holiday. They were always away. My grandma wanted for nothing, and that was lovely considering what they went through.
Yeah.
I never got to. I never got to have that many conversations with them. My language barrier as well. They was always they didn't know me past. I was probably 20 something when they passed away.
Yeah.
But certainly my mum and dad would have been. I mean, I always think that you know that I wish they were around to see what you've done, and you know, not just you, the others as well, but obviously, you know, to see. They always saw that in you. They always knew you were creative, and you know, because you were always the one that used to sit when we went round, would be sitting and doing, whereas the boys would be hooning around outside. You know, God, can I get Luke? No, but she was like, oh, Luke's much, you know, he'll sit and do, you know. So she was always trying to find things for you to do, because she just liked, you know, that sort of. Because I suppose that was me and her. She'd sit there with her sewing machine, and I'd be perched the other end of the table, sort of, with the things ready to help, you know. It was like, but so I think she saw that in you, you know, the fact that you wanted to make things, and I love it. Yeah, and that's what I liked. When I was sewing, making clothes, it was great. I could make this. I could, you know, Mum would knit, and it would take her weeks to make me a jumper, and I'd be like, oh, I could get a piece of material and make something for that evening. But yeah, it's nice working and making something out of nothing. I think she'd love that. Yeah.
With the lace.
That was before she had any children. This is cool. That was at my grandparents' house in Berlin. Yeah. But they used to spend so much time together. They used to go there a lot. I mean, well, Dad was based in Germany at one point in a place called Saarlager. And so they spent a lot of time with my grandparents. They lived with them for a time, I think, and enjoyed, you know, because there's so many photos of them all together. And that's before they had any children. Because my sister was born in Germany, in Saarlager. And then Dad got moved back to Britain. Both things I've seen you do recently have been where you've put your words into the textile, which I think is so nice. That must be strange, because you never met. And you didn't meet your grandparents very often, because you were 18 months when we moved here. I'm flattered that you've chosen the family to do it on. I'm sort of, it's brought a lot up for me. It's brought a lot of, you know, time things. I suppose it's hard, but it's really nice that somebody like you has picked it out and gone, oh, you know, I'm interested in this, and I'm interested in their lives and what they did, and see some sort of value in it, because so many people aren't interested in photos. That's Oprah.
Is it?
That's Oprah. That's Grandad. That's Oprah. Yeah, no, it's I'm flattered, really. I'm thrilled that you think it's got value. So I'd speak what I was taught, you know, in my lessons at school, and my cousin would laugh at me, which made me stop talking, because I thought I'm not saying it right, you know. But my gran would always, if she heard me, she'd go, "Was Sie?" I'd be like saying it again a bit hesitantly, and she'd go, "Oh." It's a bit like Welsh. It's like, you know, you go to North Wales, you can't understand the Welsh because they speak with such a thicker accent, and everything sounds different, even in the valleys, places like that. To here is very different. So back in his family, Griffiths obviously, but he definitely, you know, loved everything I sort of told her about it. She never came because, you know, she was older and Dad was ill, and she didn't want to leave him. He loved seeing pictures of you all on the beaches, and I used to make her a calendar with all the pictures. But yeah, I think they knew I'd always sort of either head sort of here or Scotland, Celtic things. I mean, I only came here obviously more because of family. I love it. Yeah, no, I love it. It always made me laugh, because the other side, weren't as keen on the Welsh factor, which made it interesting. I used to speak to them. She'd say, "Are they there?" And I'd have to hand the phone over, and you'd be like, "No."
I remember, yeah.
You'd give a little chat,
The
little chat to Nanny, which would, and then it'd be like, "Right, we're coming on Friday," and then you'd all bundle in the car. Yeah, she would be so proud and so. I mean, I think it would knock her sideways if she saw what you'd done with those pictures. The fact that you've taken any kind of interest for hours listening to stories of who they were and where they're from. And I get the tin out, Mum, and she'd be like, "Oh, really?" Because she knew I'd be there going, "So who's this? And who's this? And who's this? And I'd want to know about this, and where are they? And who was that then?" And I'd say, so it's
That's good.
But I think she'd and Dad would be just,
I'm gonna end with that.
I don't know, I think he'd be quite emotional that you sort of, the picture you had of him and yourself, the way you sort of, worked with those two. I think he would have, been quite emotional about that. Bless him.